Let's stay motivated. You're doing just great.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Be My Guest with me, Mary Honan, on Lir Media TV, supporting the Samaritans, Limerick and Tipperary, and she's here at last, Carole Scanlon from Birmingham. Anyone that's in dancing will know Carole. Hi Carole.
Hello Mary, good to see you.
Jeez, I thought we'd never see each other because it
Oh
was
my Lord.
a bit of a saga trying to get us on.
I thought I was going to have to send you a photo in the post.
Technology is fantastic until it isn't.
Oh well, my knowledge is zilch, absolutely zilch. I just had to call. I've got a phone, Trisha's computer, another computer, and 2 iPads.
And at one stage you were
and I don't know how any of them work.
And at one stage you were on 2 iPads on with me, and none of
Absolutely.
none of them, I could see you on none of them.
I don't know how I switched them on, and I didn't know how to switch them off.
Thank God for Patricia.
Yes, forever.
So Carole, everyone and anyone that's in Irish dancing knows Carole Scanlon.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Like everybody else, we all have an image of Carole Scanlon from what we see at Beshana of this teacher who has produced multiple world champions. And you could be mistaken for having an image of a person as being, this person is a star teacher, if you like. But
image of being loud.
No, outgoing and gregarious and fun-loving, but the Carole Scanlon that we don't know, which is what I'm trying to, I suppose, get at. How did you get involved in Irish dancing in the first place, Carole? You're from Birmingham. Were you always from Birmingham?
Born in Birmingham, yeah. But my parents came over in the 40s, and we lived near the city. So I was an only child till I was 5, and then my brother came along, and Irish dancing was never really part of the curriculum of our lives or whatever. My mother had a very, very poor upbringing. She came over here when she was 16, 17.
From where in Ireland?
From Galway.
Galway.
From Galway. And my dad came over. He came over to go to university, actually, but it didn't happen. Mum went on to try nursing, and then she went to be a bus conductress. And my dad, instead of going to university, met Maggie McDonough, and they got married. So we lived near the city by a big parish where all the Irish came. And my dad was very active in helping people coming over and finding places for them and that. And then this woman, Patsy Kiernan, who went to Australia, then Patsy Dennehy, she started up a dancing school, and Brian McDade was in there as well. Right. So I think she sent me down there just to get me out of the way after she had my brother, and it was 6pence or a shilling or something like that, But I did like it. And Patsy went to Australia then, so Bobby Smith took over. So that's where I learned my real dancing. Bobby Smith and Anne King Byrne, who is it? Yeah. She taught me my first hornpipe.
Is she lovely, Anne?
Yeah, the best. And so from there then we went to it all gave up there. I used to catch the bus miles and miles away, and then I ended up going to the Clara School in King's Heath. But my dancing was quite unremarkable, really. I know they have this thing, it's not the winning, it's partaking. No, I don't agree with that. You want to win, However, in my day, we did it for the crack. I swear to God. And I was about 15, 16, and there was a big fesh in Handsworth, Moretta Armstrong, Columkill fesh. And if you were 15 or over, everybody was in that pot. You were all in the same competition.
So you could be
You'd have like the Skehill brothers, which are today's the Gardner brothers, You'd have all these fabulous dancers, Aidan Comerford and the lot. And then there was myself and Kathleen Clifford. So,
isn't she a star, Kathleen?
Oh, well, we just went for the crack. And let me tell you, we were in the cloakroom, and you're on about wigs and makeup or whatever. We had the hair pieces, the false eyelashes, the lot, getting
Like June
glammed up.
Deegan. June Deegan.
Oh,
Did you hear June's? And she had her hair up. Somebody from the
I remember her dancing.
told her to put her hair up and showed her how to put it up with toilet rolls. And
Yes.
herself and Michael
Maguire.
were dancing together, and Mike looked, and the toilet roll was unraveling on his hair.
Yeah, that would happen. And so we did it for the crack, you know, and we won a few things and whatever else, but we didn't travel anywhere. It was just really being part of it, you know. And then I was teaching in my class, and then Father Murphy, who was a real scary fella, he said, you've got to start your dancing now in Our Lady of Lourdes. And I was 18.
And you were
I thought I'd better do this. I'll get a bit of absolution, you know, so I'll do what he tells me. And there it is. That's how I did it. So I just started teaching, and there were no exams, or I wasn't aware of exams. There probably was, but I didn't ask. So you have to be 21 to do your exam, but I was teaching away, and then suddenly I got called to the board.
Really?
Oh, well, you know, everyone else had done this exam, which I didn't know about, and so I had to do my exam.
So how was that?
Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. It was terrible. But I did it, and I passed it. Yeah, Tom Farrelly was there. And
he was on my panel as well for my TC.
Yeah.
I found the other day the desk at home that I used to study on inside my bedroom, and it was right beside the bed, and it was a card kind of a table. It's still at home, and I don't want to get rid of it because it reminds me of doing my TCRG on that desk.
I don't need any memorabilia. I will never forget it.
Oh, it was awful. I remember
horrendous.
A hotel in Dublin. I can't remember. I did it with Maya Walsh, and I stayed in a hotel. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it had blackout curtains. I couldn't find the bed. The bed was so tall. I forgot it was so tall, and I fell out of it the morning. And you know, it was really tall. Now you'd need something to get up on it. But
yeah, well, I think when we took the exam, it actually came to Birmingham, so I couldn't run from that one. I had to do it.
Yeah, I did. I stayed in the hotel that it was on in, that the exam was on in. I can't remember it, but it was in Dublin anyway. And Tommaso Farrelly and Mary Duffy were on my panel.
Yeah.
Can't remember the third examiner, but yeah, I was scary. I was so glad when I got it.
Oh God, yeah.
You know,
and then I just carried on teaching.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, really.
So how have you? What changes have you seen since you started dancing?
Oh, good Lord!
Because you're involved in every side of it. Like you have a pub as well, which we'll talk about.
But that's only in the last 18 years. I mean, teaching dancing was never ever a profession. We all had to work. Everybody worked. It was just, an extended hobby. You would do it after you finish work at night or on the Saturdays and Sundays. And when I was younger, I worked in Selly Oak Hospital in biochemistry for 28 years on the admin side.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't go into the pub game. Well, it was a curse of Mother Nature, really. I got cranky one day, and that good old menopause made me even crankier. And I walked out of the hospital for a cup of coffee. I said, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
And
I never went back. No, I never went back. And then I bought a pub, for God's sake. No planning.
As you do.
Yeah, madness.
Yeah.
So here I am, still here.
To walk out of the hospital and buy a pub.
Yeah. So that's how I ended up in this game, only because out of temper, I wouldn't go back to work.
But was it the best decision you ever made?
Well, yeah, maybe.
I know.
I thought I might be retired by now. I'm 68, Mary, and I'm still working.
But
it's okay.
The thing about it is, they say if you're doing something you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the pub, Carole, what would be the alternative of giving up? If you give up, what will you do?
Oh, I'm 68. Hopefully I would do absolutely nothing. good Lord, I'm not looking to change.
I can't see you do nothing.
No. Well, you still got the classes and everything else, but we do a lot of charity work here as well. We do a lot. My charity really is the homeless, and I like to see it going direct. I know we can't fix it, but we can give them a good couple of days out of it all, and that's all it is. It's a never-ending melting pot. But I'd like to still carry on doing that and still teaching dancing,
Talking about the homeless there now, and I saw somebody in America who actually, she was African American, and she actually went in and paid for a hotel room for a homeless person for 3 months, and she was appealing to people. And I thought that was a wonderful and a simple idea, that if every person could afford to put somebody up for one night in a hotel that was homeless in the area, maybe that would work as well,
Yes, it would work, but it still doesn't put food in their belly. Sometimes we support this place. It's called Fireside, and it keeps everyone fed. So there's a place there, and it's a big building, and there's a chiropodist, there's a doctor, there's showers, and so they've got that facility every day, which, is quite important.
It's Jesus, Carol. I saw a man last night now on the side of the street, and he fixing his little, it was lashing, raining.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And he was outside the AIB bank here in O'Connell Street, and he was fixing out his quilt cover, nice and neat. And I was going to the bank machine and he was, and you feel so awful when you
terrible.
You just don't know what to do, because you don't know whether to give money or to buy food. And somebody had just given him out a dinner from the restaurant beside the bank. They just passed him out, and he was sitting down eating. Normally I'd go in and get food and bring it out.
Yeah.
Because it's probably, you don't want to give, you're reluctant to give money in case they'll spend it on drugs, but then you're
not going to stop that either. And, you're not going to cure anything. You just make, after lockdown, I thought that we'd go out in the streets myself.
No one in Irish dancing would allow that, Carol.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure.
That would never happen. And Carole Scanlon, anyway.
People were very good to me during lockdown. It was a horrendous time here. The whole world fell apart, because on March the 20th, we'd already lost the fish. We were losing all our functions, and then suddenly close up. So we closed the pub, we closed the dancing school, and everything went quiet. And I was up here for weeks and weeks. I couldn't speak to anybody. I just thought I'd lost everything. I couldn't get the government grant. I couldn't get this, that, and the other. But the Irish dancing world are great. My family were fantastic. But the Irish dancing world were fantastic. Macaulay phoned me every single week. And sometimes I wouldn't speak. I didn't want to speak. And he said, that's all right. I'll call you next week again.
I know. And if I had known you were in that difficulty, Carol, I'd have.
Oh no, you wouldn't have known, because I wouldn't tell anybody.
Don't want to talk, but they just want, or some, it's like I was only saying to a friend there earlier, something came up and she was saying I didn't know what to say, and I said sometimes you don't say anything, you just listen. People just don't want you to say anything. They just want to talk.
It wasn't that I was going to be absolutely desperate, but I was going to lose. I've never done anything but work. And the whole lot was just snatched from you. Nobody's fault. Government, in my opinion, has made all the right decisions. I backed them all the way.
Yeah, I
think anything that had to be done had to be done. But I wasn't in a position, to have any backup on it. March, April, May are our big money spinners, and everything got cancelled. Weddings, christenings, everything got cancelled. And of course, we couldn't do any funeral. We couldn't do anything. So it was horrible. And I was in this building, and I've got locks on the gates there, and it was a bit like being in prisoner cell block H. Every now, so many people came, and they were hanging things off the gate for me. They were great, people bringing me stuff, but it was in hindsight funny, but it wasn't funny at the time. But we're creeping back.
Are the pubs open?
They're open, yeah, but I'm not sure. You know, I know your pubs aren't open there.
No.
We're open, but we're
It's even
limited.
worse here, Carol. I mean, it's just like, you know, I mean, I personally don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. I mean,
Well,
they're telling
you're
people,
between the devil and the deep blue sea. We're open. The whole building is open. It costs a fortune to open this up, to staff it, to get all the cellars working. The electric costs thousands every month, and you're only on a third capacity. So we're open and not covering. So I'm not quite sure.
Here in Ireland, they have this bizarre, it's like an Irish solution to an Irish problem. When you think about it, you couldn't write it as a comedy sketch.
Yeah.
They tell you that you can open the bar if the bar is selling food, but the food has to be in excess of €9.
I think that is to boost the economy.
The joke going around is that this virus must be incredibly intelligent, that it knows you actually have a €9 meal in your hand.
I get it.
Because if you haven't got, if you haven't got that €9, if they're only selling sandwiches, as Danny Doherty said to me, Jesus Mary, he says, I'd start selling sandwiches. And I said, but you'd have to sell them for €9. Because the virus would know.
I think the point is, which is what I was trying to say there, is that we don't do food in the week. We do it on weekends. That, say I'm open today and I've only got 3 or 4 coming in, it's not worth my while opening. If I was selling food, it would boost the income. So I see it's boosting the economy, why they're doing it. So if I'm £3 a pint, you get somebody that comes in, he has 3 pints and he goes, that's £9. You know, well, okay.
Yeah.
But if you've got 3 or 4 people come in and they have those 3 pints and they all have a meal, there you go.
Yeah, but the thing about it is there's misfortunes here in this country. There was one woman on the radio the other day crying her heart out. 3 times she has bought stock 2 weeks in advance, because that's what they do here. She does, is she buys 2 weeks in advance. And 3 times she has done it, and each time she has had to open the bottles and pour them down the sink, because she's had to dispose of all the drink that she's bought, because they've moved the goalpost each time. Yesterday now they've moved the goalpost again, and they have said that pubs cannot open until the 31st of August.
Yeah.
And 31st of August could come, people have bought in their drink 2 weeks beforehand for the 31st of August, and then they move the goalpost again.
I understand that. The drink doesn't go out of date that quickly.
So I think it's over the COVID that they have to dispose of it.
Yeah. You don't have to dispose. I dispose of a lot of barrels, but only if they were past sell-by date.
Yeah, she had to dispose of it, she said, anyway.
Yeah, it's terrible. I threw barrels and barrels down the drain. I filled up all my bottle banks, not with empty bottles, which is ka-ching to my ears, but full bottles, all gone. Yeah. But we got compensated for the beer, not the bottles. But you know what? It is what it is, and we'll get over it.
But having said that, the British government have, from what I know of it, have been quite good to businesses and to money wise. I mean, here in Ireland, I think it's only, I don't know what, I think it's around 200 and something or €300 per person that they're getting, which is
with me getting a grant, I fell through the cracks of it and didn't officially qualify, so I didn't get any help until a month before I opened, and that was the only reason I could open. So I spent 10 weeks begging and sitting at a computer email. I sent 58 emails. Yeah.
Carol, you must have been just...
Oh, horrendous.
You must have been just at your wit's end.
Just beyond it. Yeah. But it's all behind now, thank God.
It's all behind.
Yeah.
But, as far as dancing is concerned, what do you think that, because that has been your lifesaver, I'd say it's been nearly everyone's lifesaver at some point in their life. You feel either the people in dancing or dancing itself, just being able to go to a feis, has been a lifesaver at times for people. The fact that you can't go to the feis at the moment, is that doubly awkward for you?
Yeah, well, I think to lose the contact, I mean, the thing about us older ones in particular, our whole life is we've made lifelong friends through the dancing world, you know, and not to be able to see them. I mean, Annie Kidd used to come in every Monday here. Every Monday we were like the two golden girls, and she'd come and open up for me, and the two of us would be there cleaning toilets and mopping floors. I said, look at us, we were judging a feis last week, you know, and now we're mopping the floors.
And now we're
cleaning the kitchen and scrubbing and whatever else. And she's done that for me for years and years, and we lost that, you know, and the hours have changed now, so she's not coming in anymore. So I lost all that contact and with Danny and all the friends. And then you had this timetable where you taught nearly every day. Nobody was coming in the door, and the kids and that sort of thing, you know. And of course, we're lucky in our class that we've got all our TCs that qualified, never left Scanlon School. They stayed with us. So, I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's a tribute, you know. I mean,
it is.
I don't think it's I don't think it's not a tribute to anyone when a dancer leaves, because dancers leave for many different reasons.
Yeah.
And most of the cases, it's 99.99% of the time, it's not because they have a problem with the teacher or because they don't like the teacher. It's for all a number of reasons, or not because the teacher isn't
absolutely
good.
Yeah.
So it's no reflection on a teacher if a dancer moves.
I agree.
But it's certainly a reflection on you in many respects, that you had so many that
it's unbelievable, and it's fantastic, you know. And I still forget how old they all are. You know, I mean, some our teachers are in their 40s and that. And I think, yeah, I still look at them, you know, as a pupil, you know. But then during the lockdown, they brought in the Zoom. Well, Mary, it took me half an hour to switch this on to speak to you. So there's no way in the love of God that Carole Scanlon could do Zoom. I just couldn't do it.
It's very easy, Carole. You just send a code, you click on the code, and you type join with audio. And you click on that, and it doesn't always work. So it's not
no.
It doesn't always work. It's
anyway, the Zoom wasn't for me, and I just thought, you know what, the rest of them kept it going. So I was quite confident that Scanlon School was continuing in some shape or form. So I didn't have to worry about that. It was just that I missed it.
But then when they were, just say for instance, Patricia was there, like she was there with you today, and she set you up on Zoom. You would be able to conduct the classes via Zoom.
Well, maybe I would, but
like you're doing with me now.
Oh no, that's a bit different. I actually didn't want to do it. I suppose. I just didn't want to do Zoom. No, and I would have done, but I knew we had it all in place, and I didn't have to do it.
Do you know, it's you know, as much as I suppose I'm trying to help dancing teachers to, you know, to connect with their friends and everything through watching about them. People now who are your friends all watching Carole Scanlon and having, you know, and feeling that they have some connection with you through all of this. But there is nothing that will actually replace the physical contact.
No, and I am always, you know, the personable thing. Yeah.
You're a people's person.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that is, and I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that loves to hug people and always have been. And I find that very hard. Do you know? And I find it very hard looking at people with masks on. I don't see a whole lot of people in Limerick with masks, wearing masks.
I can't wear the masks.
I won't wear because I'm not.
Well, I can't. I've had 3 or 4 operations across here and my throat and whatever else. And I actually can't wear the mask, so I'm really struggling. I can't. I don't want to walk into my cash and carry into the butcher's and that and not wearing a mask because it looks wrong. So I'm really struggling at the minute.
I think, and I'm asthmatic, and I've been hospitalised a few times with it. Yeah. You're there, and I find it hard to breathe through my nose.
I can't do it. But I went to Tesco the day before it came law, and I thought I'm going to get as much shopping in as I can and get everything in. So I went in there, and there's a girl I know there, and I was buying my cigarettes, I suppose, the thing. So, and I said, I'm doing a big shop now because I said I can't come out with this mass business, and I said, so I'm going to get loads of stuff in. And she said, I can help you there. I said, oh, okay. So she said, if you don't mind wearing this band thing, you see. I said, well, what does that do? She said, well, you won't have to wear a face mask here. You won't be questioned. And I said, oh, God. I said, did you bring this out for the face mask? She said, no, it's for the elderly and the distressed. She said, Mother of God. I thought I must have looked absolutely shocking. Yeah, so I've got the
elderly or distressed.
I've got the elderly and distressed neckband to wear. So I can do what I like in Tesco now. I must have looked like a bag of rags when I went in.
Oh, you never, Jesus! But I don't know. Would I wouldn't like to see that come out in this because here now the Gardaí have told people in shops, because the shop that's near us, the supermarket, they've told them, if you cannot and must not ask a person to wear a mask. Neither can you or must you ask a person why they have refused to wear the mask. So he has a poster up that says, under no conditions can a person who doesn't wish to wear a mask be asked why they don't wish it, because
but the law
has the right to ask somebody if they have a medical condition.
Yeah, we have, it's a bit like in my club, we have it all set out. You know, we've got the steps, we've got every marking, we are absolutely 100%, we've got it in place.
Yeah,
we cannot make people do it.
Yeah.
We can't make them do it,
people.
But it's in place.
No,
and that's as far as you can go with it.
That's as far as you can go.
Mm.
How have you seen, I suppose, dancing change over the years? Have you seen massive changes? I know the costumes and everything. The class costumes probably wouldn't have changed so much, but...
Oh, they've changed as well.
So, but I mean, if you look at Danny's teams, we were only talking about them the other day. Yeah. You see the kilts on the boys, and you see the girls in the green. You can almost think you were 10 again watching.
Yes, from the boy, from the
kilts.
From the kilt going and coming back in figure, which I do like it.
Yeah, I like it.
I do like it in the figure.
I do.
I like the boys in their trousers. I think they look more streamlined, and
me too.
I think it's easy. Yes,
but in the figure, I have to say I like Danny's teams in the figure, because they. I don't know. As I said to, I forget who was Gary. For a moment, when you're looking at the teams, you think you're back in you're 10 again. When you look
back
at the men in the kilts and the girls in the costumes, you know.
But the class costumes, from when I first started teaching, my aunt used to make the frocks, and we chain stitched them, and we used to get these little transfers and iron them on, and maybe burn a skirt before we got it right, and all this sort of thing, you know. And then suddenly, like this wonderful discovery of machine embroidery.
Yeah.
In Nottingham. Oh my God. And Scanlon School, we got ours machine embroidered, and it was fantastic, you know. And then of course it moves on to other things, and, you know, costumes, we got a bit braver with them, you know. So I think class costumes are more traditional than what obviously the solo costumes.
Yeah. They moved on to feathers at one stage. What about feathers? And you'd
gimmicks, yeah. But you know what? You've got to do the gimmick.
Yes, you got to do this.
Yeah.
Gavin was only talking about that.
Yeah, I saw that.
You
Yeah.
think it's gone too far, or is it not gone far enough? And he said, well, we might have went a step too far with the feathers. And all the feathers being swept up off the stage. Children.
Yeah, but you know what? It was, so what? Try anything goes. Why not? If you don't try it, you don't know, do you?
But you'd be, it's safe to say, I'd say you'd be for the wigs and the makeup and the costumes the way they are, because I am, do you know?
Mary, I wore hairpieces and false eyelashes when I was dancing with Kathleen Clifford and Aidan Comerford. I love it. I'm all for anything that makes you feel good or look good. And see that photo? There's a photo there of my figure team.
Yeah.
By your right, yeah. Those girls, I mean, they won the worlds for us. They spent 2 days with their hair in rollers.
Ah, sure. Look at me, Carol. I mean, I'm trying to.
Absolutely. And then you take the rollers out, and they're absolutely coiffured to perfection. One practice, and boof, gone.
Gone.
So yes, the wigs are an excellent idea. Absolutely excellent. However, you will get, you know, the Simpson wig, or, you know, the Elizabethan wigs and all this. You'll always get some donkey that thinks they look great in a great big fat wig, you know. But for every one of those,
you know, there's moments in these interviews when you say, leave in or take out.
But for every one of those, there's 20 good ones. So, you know, there's good frocks, there's bad frocks, you know, there's good wigs, there's good dancers, bad dancers. So, whatever. Yeah. So I'm all for it. And the makeup.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's some,
you
know, there are some children and the parents just, you think, you know, a little bit less makeup now would have been just right, you know.
I know.
There's a stage where you can actually go just too far, and there's
I agree.
A stage where you probably haven't gone enough. Do you know?
I do sometimes think, you know, if you spent the last hour warming up a bit more instead of checking on your left eyelash and your bit of lipstick, you know, you might have been done better up on the stage. But however. Yeah.
Jesus, get me through this. Your friendship with Danny.
Oh, we've been friends.
Wasn't his interview great? Wasn't he fabulous?
I loved it. I really thought he was sitting here.
1,070, I think, people have.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be? Yeah. Great friend. Danny Doherty, you know, he's one of my closest best friends.
Yeah.
Off the stage, let me add. When we're in competition, friendship's not part of it at all.
No.
No way.
I was.
Absolutely. I'm out to beat him and vice versa. So I'm on the stage and we're all in that game. And anyone says, oh, I'm delighted to win. No, you're not. I wanted to win that. You know.
Yeah, so. he said to you in Galway, if I get another second, I'll be furious. And you,
I swear, Mary,
if I got a second, I'd be delighted.
I was so mad with him. You know, we're there. I was really mad. We're trying to, you know,
get second. I said anyone would be delighted with second.
We were trying to get a recall in the solos and get the Kaylee up there and get a medal in the figures. And I said, oh, well done, Danny. Oh, he said, I'm like second-hand rose. Well, you know what? I could have hit him with my handbag. Second-hand rose. I said, why is that? All the second places. Oh, God. And that's when you think, I'm not talking to you for the rest of the day, you ungrateful man.
Go away.
Yeah.
Go away and get it up.
And we screaming, trying to get recognised, you know. Yeah. But I love him to bits. And he would bend over backwards to help me.
Yeah, he would. He loves
yeah. Absolutely. You know.
See that.
But we do have good crap because he's about as clever on this IT stuff as I am, you know. And then every now and then.
You have to have a youngster set him up on it. I laughed. I said, Danny,
He comes up
it's
to me
terrible.
to sort out his visa. Well, it is the hilarious thing. However, he gets his visa between the pair of us, and that's as far as we go with the computer. Yeah, but he really is a very, very close friend.
But
And Annie,
you know, when I was going through his photographs to do his backdrop and that, I said it to him. I said I could not find a photograph that Carole Scanlon wasn't in. You were everywhere in it.
the worst photos were those terrible ones we put up when we were
that one with you
in Ibiza. I know, yeah.
Look, who said it to me afterwards? Terry Gillen. How much did Danny pay you not to put that photograph in there? Had I seen that photograph, Carole, that would have been in.
Well, what was so funny, it was just funny that us old codgers were heading off to Ibiza. It was Fiona Kidd's wedding. And I thought, my God, is Ibiza ready for us? You know, and then we started. I said, come on, we'll take a photo, and I had my coat. So it was so funny. And then we just kept doing them every day.
I don't think there'll be a photograph. I'll have to.
I know. It was hilarious.
But I don't think there's a photograph that will ever capture the two of your personalities. Not how you look now, but because you're all so glamorous. But definitely your personalities.
Oh, but we get on really well, you know.
You know,
yeah, like I know the fact. I know. But nearly every picture of me is with a cigarette. Terrible.
Yeah, but you know, you've made a lot of friends through dancing.
Yeah, yeah, I have.
Yeah,
yeah. I haven't. Don't think I've made many enemies. So if I have, they're not important to me, and I haven't noticed it.
No, but you'd be known as a straight talking and a straight upfront person, you know, and that's
well, it's just
something that's very admirable in dancing. Because I was talking to Gary, about the Irish dancing and that, and he was saying that, you know, it was gone. The association rule and all this has just gone and has taken it to another level, and it's stopping people from working. And it's preventing people from running their business, and that blah blah blah. And I said, well, I can understand both sides. I can understand why the association rule is there, because you have to show a sense of propriety, and we have to, parents aren't fools anymore, and neither are children. And you know,
I've been part of Uncommissioned all my life. I don't know any other.
Neither do I.
Association. And it's got bigger and bigger. Now, I was on regional council for years and years. And then I was on commission as well. And all these people are doing this voluntary.
Yeah.
They're doing it voluntary. They're trying to sort out different problems, and that, you know, rules are being made which mightn't suit a particular corner. But on the blanket of it all, it's a better rule. I do understand the association rule, and they can put their hands up and say, no, we got it wrong, and then they'll change it and bring it into, you know, more sensible reasons or whatever. But as regards the association, I think we do need it in place.
That's what I said. I think overall, I said I can understand how people would feel that it's affecting the right, that it's like having two corner shops or a pub association telling you can't serve wine in your pub because next door is serving wine. But at the end of the day, I can understand why Uncommissioned feel they have to have an association rule, because it makes it more transparent, and you know, and there's that, you're creating that sense of a level playing field.
Yeah, we're dealing with a different customer these days, Mary, from when we were teaching before. You know, it's totally different now, and we're dealing with. Well, I go back to when we used to do it for the crack or whatever. No, that's not it. You know, and we're dealing with a lot of selfish people. You know, in the dancing world, and when I say selfish, I don't mean nasty selfish, but looking after your own corner, which is the right thing to do. And then we forget to look over that shoulder and think, well, you know, that for the rest of the corner, it would help them. And we don't do that often enough.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and I know rules are there to protect or whatever, but, you know, in this game, you've got to be tough and you've got to protect yourself. You can't have CLRG looking after you and holding your hand.
No.
Yeah, you've got to look after yourself. It's a tough old game out there, you know. And if you don't like it, teach them, pull out the fish. You know, there's other ways of enjoying your dancing.
Because, you know, I mean, before you didn't have things like the voy board constantly, which personally I think should be banned.
You can't ban that, can you?
No,
Because
you can't, but something...
It's the most vicious, vindictive, nasty thing.
Insidious.
Ever. It's vile, and they hide behind, they make horrible remarks, absolutely horrible. You know, they remind me of somebody trying to get into my pub at 2 a.m, really drunk. You can't see them in the dark, and you shut the door, you won't let them in. And as they're running out the car park, they're shouting every obscenity at you, but you don't know who they are. And they remind me of those people.
That's
horrible.
That's an analogy. But
absolutely.
It is because it could be your next door neighbour, it could be your friend, it could be your friend in his mother.
You know,
you don't know who it is, and that makes it worse. And it's the worst form of bullying.
I can, you know, I often say, you know, if somebody gets on my nerves or something like that, and I go, oh, there are no consequence to the quality of my life, you know, and they're not important to me, so switch off. But that voice is nasty. It is nasty.
Shocking. I don't know how, but I don't know how the moderator of the voice can. You should at least be able to know who is moderating a voice board, and at the very least, nobody should be able to comment without putting their names.
No.
I mean, at least on Facebook, if you post something, everyone knows you're posting a character.
But I think that was the whole point of voice, that you could say what you wanted to say. I mean, Irish dancing isn't the only thing that's got voice, you know.
I know. The Law Society has it.
And I think the whole point of voice was that you didn't know who it was, you know. But as long as, I mean, we don't go near it, I might tread on it every now and then to make sure nobody is shooting down any of my flock. I don't give a toss about myself.
I used to go on it before to put up people's fashions when I was fashion registrar.
No, well, that's the point I was going to make.
And I used to just think that it was selling promoting their business and getting people, you know, here's their fashions on coming up, and everyone seemed to want that. But then I stopped. We must not
ever use it for useful information or respond on it. Yeah. Just be aware it's there. And you know, and leave it to them little demons.
4 years, 5 years, 4 years, definitely 4 years. Because it just, I had no knowledge of what it was like. I just thought, oh, this is great board now. I'll be able to, and I'd sign it, Mary Honan, Fesh Registrar.
Yeah.
And then I just saw the things that were going up in it, and I thought,
I know.
And then
wicked.
Then only, I think last year, Munster Council brought out or the Commission brought out a ruling that teachers weren't to be on the voice or comment on the voice, and I thought,
you see, this is where Commission shouldn't have to bring out that ruling. We should have enough cop on. We don't need Commission to tell us our manners. We should be properly reared not to do it.
Yeah,
we don't need Commission. We shouldn't. We should have enough cop on. Just don't go on it.
I mean, you
have
the human beings behind the things that's been said, you know, and they can say it and they can go away, and they've left a trail of destruction after them that they'll never ever imagine the damage that they've done.
Oh, I know.
I'm thankful that I've never been on it, good or bad. No.
Well, Danny Doherty and I were married on it. Somebody. I was judging somewhere.
You're joking?
Yeah, and they were on about this association and whatever, and then this comment, well, surely you know that Danny Doherty and Carole Scanlon are married. I said, oh, good Lord, some things have changed.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But
so
you're a little married couple now, the two of you.
Huh?
You're like a little married couple, the two of you.
Well,
in photographs.
we'll see if I'm in the will
friend.
to see how married we are.
Huh?
That's a terrible thing to say. See if I'm in his will if we're married. Yeah.
Oh God, he's such a sweetheart, though. I mean, I was saying to him about the time I judged his fashion, and Mary I can never think of her surname. I keep saying Mary McAleese, but Mary
McElroy.
McElroy. McAvoy, I was going to say. Mary McElroy fell on top of me, and all Danny was saying was, Jesus,
Oh, yes.
Jesus, Jesus, she's dead. And she has no money to get. He said that's all I was worried about, was the money, the compensation.
We used to travel together, Danny and I, when the schools were young. And there was one time we both had figure teams, and we stayed in this hotel in Dublin. Anyway, Danny got the first taxis off to the Feis, and he got there. Mine were the second lot of taxis. And it was Easter Sunday, and the big parade was on. And my dancers got stuck in the parade. And I couldn't, well, I managed to get to the Feis, but some of the kids were still stuck in the taxis and that. We had to hold the Feis up for us to come to get them to dance. And then another time we arranged the coach to Ireland. So my job was the hotel, booking everyone in and whatever else. And if you had a group booking, you know, you got a cheaper deal. So Danny and I and Annie, we get the whole group together. Danny's job was to get the coach. So anyway, I didn't travel on the coach going over. I travelled a separate way, but I went home on the coach. Well, when I saw the state of the coach that Danny had booked, and they were sitting on, I tell you, they were sitting on there with their umbrellas. The rain was peeing through on top of them and everything. And I said, never again, Danny, never again will I let you organise anything. It was shocking. But we did have a good laugh over it.
And that was the coach from Birmingham to.
We brought from Birmingham and Coventry over to Limerick, and the coach stayed, and then we brought the coach back. And I didn't see.
The coach actually managed to arrive safely.
Oh God knows, no health and safety them days, Mary.
Jesus. But they were better times.
I know, but there were funny memories.
They're almost too health and safety conscious now. You know, everything is kind of so difficult.
Yeah, I suppose so.
What was the best thing that your greatest moment? You know, in dancing. I know you've had some. You know, it's like picking.
There's quite a few great moments, but I'm going to go back a long, long time. And it was when I started taking teams to the world. A bit like taking part the crack, you know. And I had mixed figure. They started under 13 and they still were dancing for me in their 20s. All the 8 lads and 8 girls. Trisha was in it, my sister, my brother, and whatever else.
Yes, there's a photograph of your sister and somewhere around
somewhere there. Yeah.
I'll bring it up bigger.
We went to we were going to the world every year. When they gave 3 places, we got 4th. When they gave 4 places, we got 5th. And it was a massive lineup of teams. One year they gave 8 places, we got 9th. This went on for 9 years. We were the next place in. Now, sometimes you sort of say, get the message now, knock it on the head. No, we went back every year. Yeah. And then suddenly we're in Limerick and we got 100, 75. Anyway, we got 2nd. And it was the talk of the whole place. Scanlon's got their medals at last. And that was a brilliant time. That was just fab. Yeah.
You never forget.
And there's been lots of great moments. Lots of great moments, you know, the wins and personal achievements and whatever else.
And you've had many wins at the World. So you've come a long way since the day of justice.
Oh my God, yeah, but it doesn't come overnight. I was teaching 25 years before we sort of really got into it, you know. we were doing well. We were getting the second-hand rows, as Danny would say, the seconds and the thirds. You know.
Misery. Oh, I
Yeah.
hope the second hand goes. At a World Championships, Jesus.
And then Angela Crowley, she won our first world for us, and she was second and third forever. You know.
I think
Connor was second and third a long time.
It's down behind the chair, so
yes, she's down there.
She's down
and Connor was the same, second and third, long time on the rostrum, you know. And our figure teams, and then suddenly we won the junior and the senior figure. Oh my God, the double off! How brilliant was that? How fantastic! So all good crack, and everybody, you know, the celebrations. I used to love the celebrations.
Yeah. Parties afterwards.
And when we were doing figure as well, I loved it because there was a good friend of mine, Chris Stapleton. He lives in Ireland now. But Chris Stapleton and Kevin Joyce used to do the music for us.
Yeah,
now, I don't know how people work, but I always would just make up my team first. And I'd make up patterns and I'd be sitting there, health and safety, cigarette in my mouth and go, look at this, you know, try that, try this. Huh?
Do you still smoke?
My only pleasure left, Mary.
My mother used to say that to me one day when she actually pinned me to a wall because she said, it's my only joy in life.
Absolutely, absolutely.
My cigarettes. I had to go and find the cigarettes for her and give them back.
My staff here, if I didn't smoke, they'd all leave me. Because if I'm giving out, they go and have a cigarette, you'll be all right in a minute. But I used to do the figure teams, and I never used to think about bars of music. I'd just seen patterns and blah blah, and I'd be going on, and then they wouldn't do what I was saying. I was going, okay, do what you think I'm saying. So they'd start doing it, and then we'd get patterns out of it and all this sort of thing, and then I go, okay, do it a bit quicker. It's a bit slow, that is. You know, we can do it in 3 bars, we can do it in 2 bars, and all that sort of thing. And then Chris Stapleton and Kevin Joyce and Jimmy Montgomery and Joe Malloy and that would come up to the class, come over, they'd look at the team, and they'd start putting the music to the dance. And that's how we did it. And we had 5 live musicians on stage. We called them the Carling Black Label Band. And it was brilliant. And we sort of won. We started winning then. It was great. And of course, we don't do that anymore, you know. That doesn't happen anymore because it goes into CD music now and everything. And I get that. I understand that.
What do? You start with the music?
No, I'd never start with music, no.
Always you
just
start with the dance.
Well, as long as I know I've always said dancing is an interpretation of music. Yeah. Music is the absolute forefront of any of us. You know, music first. But you're still in your head, you've got your 8 bars or you've got your rhythm. Yeah, you don't need to be listening to a live tune or music.
It's like Elton John and what's his name that teams up with him. Elton John writes the words and he writes the music. And I'm trying to think of the guy that writes the words. But you know they work as a team and you work.
Well, that's how and that's how Trisha
and you're putting the music to it.
And that's how Trisha and I work forever, you know. And we never stood together making anything up. And I do it, and then she'd come in and I go, have a look at that now, and I'd walk away, and she'd go, turn them the other way or shift on it, and that's how we did it.
Did you see on Anne Byrne-Gibbons' interview that I
the figure team?
Did you see the figure team from Kevin?
Yeah, the Tara brooch. Yeah.
Did you ever see anything so lovely? I mean,
it reminded
me to speed up because I felt, oh God, the music could do with being faster. But the figures, the change.
But Mary, I did because I remember Ted Kavanagh's figure teams.
Father Michael was.
Michael Johnson was in them, and Richard Griffin and Billy Griffin and all those. I remember those figure teams.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And I just used to watch them forever.
I know of them as well.
And Terry Bowler,
Tony Nolan. We did the Limerick Workers, and it was a beautiful figure team. The Limerick Lace Workers. But you'd be up there and you'd see the likes of Matty Miladies, and you'd see
Yeah.
Inishalgas, and you'd see Ted Kavanagh's, and
And the bowler school. Do you remember Terry Bowler? Yeah.
And you know, and even when O'Rourke's did the Bridges of Ross, I was about 8 when the senior team did the Bridges of Ross, and I've never forgotten that, even as a old, the beautiful intricacy, the figures of the Limerick lace workers, and the
fabulous,
and the
real clever.
Bridges of Ross. You know, you could see the whole story coming to life.
Yeah. And you see, in the Midlands, we did lots of figure. You see, Annie Kidd, the McCarran School, Scanlon School, Danny Darty, we all did figure. So it was a big deal. You know, at Scanlon Fesh, you would have 6 or 7 figure teams easily in one age group, you know. And of course then, and then John Carey fellow players kept it going and whatever else, you know, but we don't all do it now. But in its day, it was fantastic. And it kept such friendship because there was room for, how do you put it, the less talented of the dancers as well, you know. And I know you try and keep them at the back a little bit, but they'd end up at the front, and then you get another move. They've got get her shifted back again quick, you know, and all that business, you know. But it was all part and parcel of parcel. And you'd be making up this dance, and you'd be having it and whatever. And I go, how did you end up at the bloody front again? For God's sake, let's go back and do that again. And she'd know I was trying to hide it. Oh, they didn't mind. That was the least of it. And you see,
for some children,
I've got a group of girls. You see that group of girls, that picture there? They are all still the best of friends. Every single one of them. So the friendship they got out of all that teamwork and everything was fantastic.
But doesn't it set them up for life?
Absolutely.
Outside of dancing.
The common denominator of all our friendships really is Irish dancing. That is the common denominator of it.
But didn't the fact that you were involved in Irish dancing from such a young age prepare you for being Carole Scanlon that you are now today?
I suppose so.
Woman, the bar owner, the person who could write that 58 letters and not give up after one.
I know.
The person that kept going, that had enough determination to say, I'm going to keep going until I actually get an answer. And
you know, you have to, because
the pub again.
My dad made us like that, you know, you've got to keep pushing and pushing.
It's in you, but I think you could, I think something that you're involved in or someone can guide you in that direction.
Guide you that way, yeah.
But I think you obviously are a very determined woman. And being involved in dancing has developed that determination. And maybe
I can be mistaken sometimes for shouting at people. I have to say in the class, you know, I'm not shouting, I've just got a loud voice.
But you know, Carole,
who
was I saying it to? I can't remember. I needed tough teachers. I needed teachers that I felt, even if they weren't tough, if they shouted at me or I thought they were shouting at me, that worked for me in every walk of life, because I would just sit back and if I thought anyone was being nice to me, I just, you know, I needed, even in my schools, I needed to be sufficiently afraid that if I hadn't my homework done, the teacher wasn't going to take any nonsense from me.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get this thing, you know, somebody might say, oh, you're always picking on me and all that. And I remember.
Because you see something in them.
I remember that this one girl said, oh, you're always picking on me. I said, that's okay. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will totally ignore you. I'll take absolutely no notice of you whatsoever. I said, how does that suit? She took the picking on her after that. She knew it was correcting. You know, the kids get mixed up. And they're so protected, the kids these days. You know, you're scared to shout at them or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say to you. Have you found a great change in that? Before, you know, I mean, Maureen O'Rourke I always remember Maureen. She often sent me home for talking inside the class.
Yeah.
And even sometimes I wasn't talking, it was somebody else, but Mary
Yeah.
had the
But you
maid
got
stop
caught.
talking, and she was sent home. And you come back in
Yeah.
the next day as if it like put you out wonder, because I loved Maureen. And
Yes, I know. Great character. Yeah.
And she was she's epic. And as well as that, she'd pull you around the floor by the sleeve.
I know.
And I needed that. But nowadays you couldn't do that.
But no, I know you can't, but some kids still need it, but you can't.
You know, I mean, it's like riding a bicycle. When they're pulled around the floor, they get to understand this is how much I have to move.
I know. We were all tactile when we were teachers years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we put people in place and all that sort of thing, you know. Yeah, it is difficult, you know, but I can still have a sharp tongue, and if they don't like it, you know.
But they know what they're buying into when they go to Carole Scanlon to dancing.
The thing is, Mary, if you weren't interested in them,
this is it.
Take no notice.
You're often actually tougher. I don't know about you, but when you see a child inside the class who's really, really talented and doesn't want to do a tap, and then you have another child over in the corner, and you know that if only they had an eighth of this child's talent, they work so hard. And you know, I've seen a post, and I often quote it:
hard work will beat talent if talent doesn't work hard. Yeah.
And you know, and you're saying, if only I could stick the two of them together, I'd have one exceptional dancer with the work ethic.
Some of the most talented people, they get bored very quickly and they don't want to do it, do they? You know, they think they can do it without all the practice. Not everyone, but not all like that, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'd say you
have to work hard.
I'd say you have a few now that are both.
You have to work hard with your talent. If you let it go at all, you lose it. So you have to maintain it.
I saw the video, or I shared it on David Gainey's when I was interviewing David. He had three. He sent me three collaborations that he thought might suit the interview that I was doing, and one of them was Aaliyah. Is it Aaliyah or Aliyah?
Aaliyah.
He said it's Aaliyah. I was saying
Aaliyah.
It might be Aaliyah. He said no, I think it's Aaliyah.
It's Aaliyah. But I've got to say, coming into that, David Gainey, I think, did the most exceptional job. Absolutely. And he's just put a new light on looking at our dancing form. I haven't the words to describe the pleasure I got from him. Applause to David Gainey. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's exceptional, but he's also
fab.
Well, he was always exceptional. There was always something when he danced. When I've judged him a few times. It was just something kind of innate. This innate sense of rhythm, this innate sense of culture,
so clever
sense of dance that's there. And even when he was dancing in competition, you could see that sense of the tradition within his dance.
Oh, just fabulous, yeah. And all those dancers, you know, he really did a phenomenal job.
But
brilliant.
You know, the collaborations he's done have been exceptional as well. You know, I mean, with all
and for the Feshap lads, for the music, you know, without the music you wouldn't have that. So the music is the whole package deal.
Combination.
Brilliant.
It's a perfect combination and a perfect example of how to tell a story through music and just your feet and music.
Yeah.
And you don't have to.
But I thought it was so, and I could watch them. I've saved every one of them just to have a look again.
They're all each and every
so
one
clever,
are exceptional.
And I'd say to my kid, get one of those moves. Just get one of them moves. You know.
They can integrate any one of those moves into their.
Absolutely. I said, keep looking at that.
Carole, what do you think of the idea of integrating traditional sets into competition. You know, the way we were, I forget who I was saying, we were talking about it the other day, the importance of the traditional sets and how difficult, Jimmy was talking about how difficult the traditional style is, and once you've accomplished and perfected, say, Garden of Daisies, Job of Journey Work, all of that, once you've got the traditional under your belt, you're able to do the more contemporary stuff that we're doing now. But what do you think of the idea of making it kind of compulsory in certain championships, that someone chooses maybe a reel and a hornpipe and a set dance, and that they have to choose one trad set?
A trad set. I remember just going into the trad thing. It is quite hard if you are an accomplished open dancer to go backwards and then do a traditional set dance. They don't always get it right.
You don't. No, they don't.
It has to be taught first.
It has to be.
It has to be taught first. That's the order of how it goes.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%.
And are you talking big competitions?
Well, I'm talking about it. I suppose I'm thinking of it, you know, introducing it at some level, even if it's at the under 9s or under 10s, that they have to do.
Well, as far as in our feshes, we do have traditional set dance competitions.
Yes, but you know, I suppose to introduce it, to make it more prominent, because there's some fabulous sets now. I mean, even some fabulous. Michael Dillon is starting to do on his page now this traditional hornpipe competition.
Yes,
Does some beautiful hornpipes that are going to be lost in the realms of time if we don't hold on to them in some way in competition.
I agree. I absolutely agree that there's a place for them, and I love watching it.
That's my question, really. Where would you see, or have you even thought about it?
Well, I haven't thought it. Well, I can remember judging the All Ireland when it was the year of doing the traditional set dance. It was really difficult to adjudicate. It really, really was. And I'll put my hands up.
Dancers, some fabulous.
And anyone who says it wasn't easy to judge, it was quite difficult. Big stage, you had 3 right over there. You know, you sometimes you're on the spot and whatever else, and the finest of dancers will put a little extra hop in somewhere, and you think, oh my God.
I know, and a bend.
And you don't know how far to punish that, you know, and I'm sure sometimes it was sort of fly tipped a bit because it was such a hard thing to do. Yeah. So I don't agree with it coming into as a compulsory world or All Ireland. Well, I'm not saying I don't agree. I don't know. I've seen it once and it was difficult. However, I think because of how much we've seen lately, that there are some things coming good out of this lockdown. Oh, yeah. I think it is so attractive to look at that it would be great to have competitions with this style. The only other thing I'll say then is that although we'd love to teach it and whatever else, we're suddenly going to get the All Ireland and the World. It's not on the curriculum. We haven't got time to do it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Governed by this All Ireland and this World.
But you are 100% right. If you could have a world champion dancer suddenly asked to do a Garden of Daisies, or
my God!
Or I saw the Cormac O'Keefe St. Patrick's Day the other day, and it was just out of this world. And you know, and you could ask them, and it's almost bringing them into a completely different style because they've got to break their own style of this perfect turn out.
Yes, yeah. You know,
and the hop that might go in, or the toe that might go in.
Oh, and the bloody toe at the back. You know, where did the toe come from? You know,
no idea where that toe.
For heaven's sakes!
I think it's just. I think some people put it in to keep to get the beat.
Some people put it in because it's wrong. I'm on about kids, and you do and they go toe and
Go
down.
up on
No,
your
no,
heel.
no,
And,
no,
you're
no.
and you're just about to give them, you think, no, that's lovely, and then suddenly toe hop on your heel and tip and tip.
And you sort of think, oh, pretend I didn't see it, but you did see it.
You can't wipe it out of your head.
Yeah, and then you come into the realms of you're teaching in competition, teaching for pleasure. What are you doing? So you only have so many classes a week. You might have Kaylee teams, which we do, a bigger team. You might have 13, 14 qualifiers. You might have only 2 qualifiers. It doesn't matter. They take up all this time. You don't have time to do this lovely, intricate,
I think
beautiful stuff.
when that question came up, or when the subject came up about the association,
And it's a shame.
When the subject came up about that Gary was talking about the association and everything like that, the one thing that I find difficult is that we do have, now with COVID-19 and all of that, we have the benefit of people like Jimmy Smith coming up and being able to look at steps and traditional steps.
Fabulous, yeah.
And being able to learn all these traditional steps and sets that we've never done before. And you can see that it's difficult with associations and things like the association rules to learn from each other more. That the COVID-19 has actually allowed us, I suppose, that little bit of freedom. And Michael Dillon's page, I suppose, to a lesser extent, maybe these shows have helped us to actually be able to talk about things and to learn from each other. I mean, people are going to learn from Carole Scanlon so much from today.
Oh, I'm not sure. But I've enjoyed all your podcasts, because you know what it reminds me of, Mary? When I was younger, and I go to the fashion and I was a young teacher, I was in awe.
1 second, Carole, it's gone again. Bloody thing. This is just, we might get another few minutes out of this.
I was in awe of like the more accomplished teachers and all this sort of thing, and I thought, I can't go near them, and you stay into your own corner.
This is it, Carole.
And then eventually, when you take your AD, I was in my 40s before I took my AD.
So was I.
But you're then going on a judging job somewhere, and you're judging with someone that you might have seen in the hall for years, and you nod your head and hello. Then you go judging with them, and they're the best crack ever.
Yeah.
But you've never spoken. And this is what your podcasts are doing. You're getting to know, oh God, that's really funny. And
I didn't think she was funny, or I didn't think he was funny, and I thought he'd be really hilarious.
Oh, he's not that bad after all.
I thought she was hilarious. I knew you were hilarious, but I think, I would hope people have seen a different side of me that they might have actually.
Oh well,
I thought Mary Honan is this or that or whatever, but
it's good that people, a lot of people sort of think your whole life is Irish dancing. Well, it's not really. There's a real world as well.
There's a person behind the dancing.
There's a real world, yeah.
And I hope these podcasts, I suppose, are an antidote as well to this awful boy. Where people actually, no doubt, people who have been on the boy and are hearing or seeing of podcasts like this, or Michael Dillon's page and that, and they're seeing that there are human beings behind every comment that's made, every negative. That you're not just a dancing teacher, you're not just a champion, a world champion teacher. You're a human being with who's.
Yeah, and also it's not
the same.
Because we've got world champions in our class doesn't make us any better.
No, but it certainly doesn't make you impervious to pain or to suffering.
I mean, the same respect goes to every dancing teacher trying to get there or not get there or teach whatever. We all do a good job in our own way.
Yeah.
We all do it.
No, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't make you, because you are a dancing teacher or a world standard teacher, that you're oblivious to pain, or that you don't feel
absolutely right. I mean,
upset when you see comments about yourself.
I absolutely agree. Even if somebody leaves your class and goes somewhere else, you feel upset over it and whatever else. But I suppose because I'm the age I am now and different episodes of things that have happened in my life, outside of dancing as well, you toughen up. And you do have to. You really have to try and think, no, they are of no consequence to the quality of my life.
Yeah.
And zip it off. Just, it's that conversation, when somebody yapping to you, you think, oh, God, are they ever going to end? And then you go, let me just stop you there. And walk away. That's it.
Oh, lovely. I like it. Let me just stop you there.
Walk away. Yeah.
On that point, Carole Scanlon, you have been immense. You're
Thank
a star.
you.
And
I've really enjoyed it.
And the flowers pale behind your person.
And my birthday flowers, yeah.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I was trying to knock the year off because 2020 has been such a crap year, but no, 68, I'm afraid. And I'm getting a waist as big as it, so I need to do something about that.
Jesus, Terry's dog, he tried to get the dog into Candice and Philip. Philip tried to put the costume he got for Candice onto her. It's an Irish dancing costume, and it wouldn't zip up. He said she's got the COVID bulge.
I have to say, talking about Terry and Philip, when you get something that you just never expected and they're miles and miles away, but they did something absolutely lovely. And it came in the post 2 weeks ago because we buried Mum in January, and then we had this, and sometimes you haven't got time to sit and think about it all. And out of the blue came this fabulous, lovely big print of myself and my sisters and my mum, and they found it on Facebook and they sent it to us. So thank you, Terry and Philip. It was so wonderful. How thoughtful.
They're such thoughtful guys, Terry and Philip. No, seriously, I mean, I judged the London qualifiers with Terry, never judged with Philip. I've always seen the two of them, and always, and
they're so funny.
Terry was lovely to judge the London with. But to sit down and talk to them, and they've been so nice to me since, and they're always sending me little messages.
Absolutely.
Telling me well done, and they enjoy the show, and it means a lot, do you know?
Oh, of course it does. Small gesture. Brilliant. Yeah.
But Carole, long may you continue.
I thought you were going to say, let me just stop you there.
Huh?
I thought you were going to say, let me just stop you there.
Let me just stop you there. It's been amazing talking to you.
Thank you.
Amazing, and I wish you the huge success, even more success.
Thanks, Mary.
And keep up the good work. And
I've really enjoyed it.
I hope your business will go for your pub business will go from strength.
Oh well, whatever.
Feel it will.
We'll get over it.
Once the dancing gets back, everyone will be inside.
Well, we're sort of we're getting back now. We're a little bit. We're fortunate we've got the premises.
Once the dancing's back, everyone is going to be in Carole's pub. And once the dancing's back, everyone should go now down to Carole's pub.
Oh yes.
Porter. Every single one of you. You owe it to her.
Yeah.
Thanks, Carole.
Thanks a million, Mary. Thank you so much.